yesterday during the NFL owners meeting, we got an update regarding Aaron Rodgers from Brian Gutekunst himself. Brian Gutekunst during owners meeting regarding the Rodgers trade. Quote, "I think we'll hopefully get this done before that, the draft, but as long as it takes. As long as it takes. If we get beyond the draft, then everything changes, compensation changes," Gutekunst said. That would be a whole different scenario. So there are two things to take away from this statement. One is that the Green Bay Packers want to trade Aaron Rodgers before this draft. That is the ideal situation for the Packers. It is the ideal situation for the Jets, or if another team swoops in. They want trade compensation this year, and I'm sure compensation in future years as well, but they at least want to have something to show for this year to get a little bit more, compensation in this year's draft to add talent around Jordan Love. And two, that Brian Gutekunst is still playing hardball with the New York Jets, which is a good thing. He can't cave and just be like, okay, the draft is coming near, let's just take whatever the Jets are offering, because that's kind of what the Jets are trying to do right now. And it seems like Gutekunst, although wants to get this done before the draft, is okay if it doesn't. He's basically saying, okay, then things do change. The compensation changes, because then, of course, we're talking about the 2024 draft instead of the 2023, and then things do change. But Gutekunst says that's not going to be a problem if that does indeed happen, stating as long as it takes. It seems like for the past month, we've been kind of stuck in this no man's land of what will the trade compensation be for Aaron Rodgers. I feel like at this point it is going to happen with the New York Jets. I mean, you have coaches over there talking about Aaron Rodgers. You have the owner and general manager. You have players like Allen Lazard who signed with the New York Jets just because of Aaron Rodgers, and he stated that himself. So at this point, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of the two sides coming together, and I think both sides are definitely being stubborn right now, and they have every right to be. The Jets don't want to pay a ton for a player that might just play 1 year, and the Packers don't want to give up a player, a 4-time MVP, for pennies on the dollar. And I know a lot of people say, oh, Aaron Rodgers isn't worth much. He's about to be 40 years old. He might only play 1 year, but at the end of the day, he is the best shot for the New York Jets to make and maybe win a Super Bowl, let alone make the playoffs, which they haven't done in 12 plus years. And I know some people will say, oh, well, they can just forget Aaron Rodgers and go trade for Lamar Jackson. And my argument to that is, if they're kind of playing hardball with the Packers on Aaron Rodgers, you really think they're going to turn around, go give multiple first-round draft selections, maybe more, and then sign a quarterback to the most guaranteed money in NFL history? I highly doubt that. Not to mention, when Jets general manager Joe Douglas was asked about Lamar Jackson, he pretty much shut that down right away and said his eyes are set on Aaron Rodgers. So I never really understood the whole standpoint of, oh, the Jets have the leverage because they could just simply not trade for Aaron Rodgers and go about their way, when all of their front office has pretty much been talking like they're going to have Aaron Rodgers in the building. They signed an offensive coordinator that has a good rapport with Aaron Rodgers. They signed Allen Lazard. They have other players on their team talking about Aaron Rodgers. They have their coaches talking about Aaron Rodgers. So to say the Jets, have all this leverage, and I'm not saying they have none, but to say they have all this leverage, I think is just completely false. And literally just as I finish recording this, I head over to Twitter and I see the Jets have signed quarterback Tim Boyle, a player Aaron Rodgers had a really good friendship with the time they had together in Green Bay. So there is another player that likely has to do with the Aaron Rodgers trade. I mean, I don't see the Jets signing Tim Boyle for no reason. I think this definitely has to do with Aaron Rodgers. So again, just like Allen Lazard, here's another player they're signing in order to get Aaron Rodgers over there. Tim Boyle knows the Nathaniel Hackett system, and just in general is really close with Aaron Rodgers. So this just makes sense as well. And on the flip side, I'm not saying the Packers have all the leverage as well. I mean, they're going to be paying for a quarterback that's not going to be on their roster anyways, $31 million right now, and jumps up to $40 million if they trade him June 1st. And another important thing to note, if this does go on beyond the draft, then the Packers could think about, possibly trading him post June 1st, which splits that $40 million up into 2 separate years. It would drop his cap hit down from $31 to $16 million this year, but then next year it'd be that $24 million. So regardless, they're paying $40 million for Aaron Rodgers if he is traded. There's a misconception that, oh, just trade him post June 1st, they'll pay less. And that's simply just not the way it goes. The Packers are going to pay, against the cap, $40 million regardless if Aaron Rodgers is traded pre-June 1st or post-June 1st. And honestly, I say they get it done now. Eat that $40 million. It's already going to be 31 against the cap, so eat $9 more million. Get rid of his contract. Take this year to kind of evaluate Jordan Love and evaluate younger talent, and then go into next year with Jordan Love on his 5th-year rookie option deal. with more cap space and no Aaron Rodgers deal on the salary cap. Our most recent update was that the Jets wanted to give the Packers a second-round draft choice this year, a second round next year that could become a first round, conditional on if the Jets make the AFC Championship game or Super Bowl, something of that sort. That wasn't stated, but I would assume it'd be something like that. And they also want a conditional 2025 pick back from the Green Bay Packers just in case if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play in 2024. So that was what was reported over a week ago. So it's clear that the Packers aren't budging and they're not going to agree with that deal. So they're going to have to meet somewhere in the middle, whether that's adding another second round draft choice into the selection or removing the seconds and maybe just getting the Jets first round draft selection. I don't see that happening. I see the Jets holding on at pick 13 unless it's a swap where the Packers move up to 13, the Jets move to 15, and then there's, second rounds included. I see the Jets staying put, and I see the Jets holding on to that 13th pick. But what the Packers are likely trying to do at this point is get multiple second rounds this year, as the Jets do have that after that trade with Elijah Moore and the Cleveland Browns. The Jets also own a third round and a fourth round pick that the Packers could also be coming after instead of the 2 second round picks. There's a lot of things that the Packers could potentially be coming after. There's been some reports that Corey Davis is included in the trade, and I just don't understand that too much, especially the contract he currently has. Considering the Packers are going to have to spend another $9 million on Aaron Rodgers, I don't see them turning around and doing that and then getting Corey Davis at a $10 million cap hit. That's a difference of $19 million. That would pretty much give the Packers absolutely zero money for the rookie class. It just doesn't make too much sense to me. Now, yes, he could be restructured or a new contract extension with Corey Davis, but as it sits right now, it just doesn't make too much sense to me that Corey Davis would be included in this trade. But overall, in my opinion, I do think this is done before draft night. I think this is done in the next couple weeks. We get closer and closer to draft, and I do think Brian Gutekunst would much rather prefer, as he stated here, to get some draft capital this year on top of the other things in future years as well. It's just a matter of the Packers and Jets, meeting in the middle and finding common ground, which just has not happened yet. But I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. If you're a Packers fan, what is the least amount you would accept for Aaron Rodgers in a trade? And if you're a Jets fan watching this, what is the most you'd give for Aaron Rodgers in a trade? I'm interested to hear all of those down in the comments below. But that about does it for this video. I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Pack Go.